viewers. My name is Pastor Yvonne Chipindu. I welcome you back for this is day 2. We are talking about candle in the wind. The scriptures tells us that fix your gaze on me. That is fixing our eyes on our Lord Jesus. When we face persecutions, when we face challenges in our lives, we all know we face them day to day. We face unemployment, we face difficulties in our marriages, but God is telling us to fix our eyes on Him. And even the scriptures tells us that I look unto the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord. So our help does come from the Lord. And also in Exodus, it was Moses and the Israelites against the Egyptians. And the scriptures tells us that this message was to the Israelites and is also to us, that these Egyptians that you see today, you'll never see them again. So I am telling you that the problem that you have, as long as you are stuck with God, as long as you continue to worship God, as long as you continue to work in God's house, doing everything that is needed in the house of God, even praying and fasting, you will never see it again. It will never come to you again, because the scriptures tells us so. If you go to Psalms, it tells us that you are seeing 1,000 coming to your left and 10,000 to your right, but evil will not fall on you. Why? Because God is with us. So we want to go into the scriptures. How did God assisted the children of Israel? We need to go to Exodus chapter 14, verse 25 to 29. I shall read for you. He twisted their chariot wheels, making their chariots difficult to drive. Let's get out of here, away from these Israelites. The Egyptians shouted, the Lord is fighting for them against Egypt. When all the Israelites had reached the other side, the Lord said to Moses, raise your hand. This is, I didn't read from verse 21. Let me just summarize. This is when they were trying to cross the Red Sea, and the Egyptians were following them. And what did God do? Moses was told with the Israelites to pass through the Red Sea, because God had made that sea to be dry. So they walked on dry land. And now when the Egyptians were coming after them, the sea got back to become a sea again. So this is what I'm reading from verse 25. That let me read again. He twisted their chariot wheels, making their chariots difficult to drive. Let's get out of here, away from these Israelites. The Egyptians shouted, the Lord is fighting for them against Egypt. So you see, now God has fought for the Israelites against the Egyptians. They were trying to come and cross, but they could not, because only God permitted the Israelites to walk on dry land. And we all know that some tried to get into the sea, and the sea was back again, and they drowned and died. So these are the ones who were left. Those were the ones who were trying to run away to go back to Egypt. Why? Because God had rescued the Israelites from the Egyptians. I shall go on. Verse 26. When all the Israelites had reached the other side, the Lord said to Moses, raise your hand over the sea again. Then the waters will rush back and cover the Egyptians and their chariots and their charioteers. So as the sun began to rise, Moses raised his hand over the sea, and the water rushed back into its usual place. So now you see, now as they were trying to run to the Israelites, the sea went back to its position, and they drowned and they died in the sea. So I shall continue, verse 27. So as the sun began to rise, Moses raised up his hand. Verse 28. Then the waters returned and covered all the chariots and the charioteers. The entire army of Pharaoh, of all the Egyptians who had chased the Israelites into the sea, not a single one survived. So all they perished in the sea. Why? Because God had rescued the Israelites. So God will never leave you. He will never forsake us. He is always with us. I shall continue. But the people of Israel had walked through the middle of the Red Sea on dry ground, as the water stood up like a wall on both sides. That is how the Lord rescued Israel from the bodies of the Egyptians. So we can now see that it was a difficult task, according to us humans, that how can God make a dry land in the sea? But He did it. Why? Because He can make a way where there is no way. So whatever you are going through, I know some will say in Zimbabwe there are no jobs, but you are a child of God. Go out, go and apply for a job with faith, Go and pray. Keep on praying. Be persistent in prayer. And because he is a God who makes a way where there is no way, you will definitely get your job if you have faith. Because the problem that we have is we don't have faith. We don't want to prophesy good things in our lives. We want to cry with the people that doesn't know God, with the unbelievers. But you are a believer. There is a difference. There is only one difference. That is faith. You have faith. What do you do in a difficult situation? Yes, there is corona. Everyone is crying in the world. Everyone, even those in America, wherever they are, everyone is crying. But the difference between you and all those people is that you are a child of God. So if you are a child of God, you will enjoy the goodness of this land if you call upon him, if you wait on him, if you worship him, if you keep on calling upon his name. This is what we need to do as children of God, as we still be the candle that is in the wind. Imagine you are putting a candle outside. There is a wind blowing, but it's still lit. There is a wind blowing. Maybe the rain is raining, but that candle is still lit. Why? Because there is something that is unique with that candle, and you are that unique candle that is in the wind. You are facing difficulties. You are facing persecutions, but you have God with you, and you can have anything that you want. You can take anything that you want as long as you believe. Jesus said, if you have just faith of a mustard seed, you change everything. Why? Because faith moves mountains. So until we meet again, if you enjoy this message, don't hesitate to like, share, and subscribe. Until we meet again tomorrow, stay blessed.